Good morning, students. Let's continue with our yesterday's topic, that is Orwell's essay, Down the Mine. Yesterday we talked about the main ideas presented in the essay by George Orwell. He begins by emphasizing the importance of coal and coal miners, then suggests that the right time to visit a mine is when the miners are at work. He also explains about the various processes that undergoes in a coal mine, like cutting, blasting and extraction of coal. He also tells about how one can enter a coal mine. Thus we see that the conditions of mine workers are extremely bad and they work under terrible circumstances. This essay is a vivid and realistic description of the coal mine, and the conditions under which the coal miners work have been described in detail. The millers work at the coal face under the most trying conditions, very difficult conditions they have to face. The processes of coal digging are very complex and complicated, and the coal miners cannot stand erect. They have to stoop and work, and they have to crawl to reach the coal face. They have to bend themselves all the time when they are digging coal, and going down the pit in a cage is itself a very difficult job. Then Orwell next describes the return journey. Return from the coal face to the place from where one started to enter the coal mines is worse than entrance, because the journey back to the shaft is slightly uphill. One goes through the low places at the speed of a tortoise and halts when one feels that one's knees are giving away. Even the lamp one is carrying becomes a nuisance. Ducking the beam is more and more of an effort, and sometimes one forgets to duck, and as a result they have to face the injuries also sometimes. So these are the conditions under which they have to work. But all these things shows that in this essay Orwell appears before us as a moralist and as a humanist. In it, he appears like a social saint. The concluding part of the essay is remarkable and very important as it exhibits Orwell's socialistic views. He was a socialist who believes in equality of man. Much of his writings seems to have socialist undertones, and although Orwell's work may have socialist vibes, it does not seem to be trying to convert the readers openly, but rather to lodge socialist values subtly. As you know that socialism is a political and economic theory advocating equality of all people. George Orwell too believes in equality so much so that sometimes he went undercover as someone from the streets, like a peasant or a worker, and lived like one for a period of time. As I have also told you in the beginning of this essay, that he left his job as a bookshop. He left his job as an assistant in a bookshop and went to live with the coal miners and the poors. This was all to satisfy his curiosity into how the other half of the world lived. The other half means the poor, the destitutes, because he belongs to the middle class. So he wants to know about them, about their living, about their lifestyle. It was his curiosity that brought out the inner socialist in him, and perhaps the best example of this is his essay Down the Mine, which he wrote in 1937 as a part of his book Road to Vegan Pyre. Orwell went into the depths of the mine to see the processes in which coal is mined or extracted. The essay shows empathy and profound respect to the miners. Although He believes in equality. It is through his experience that Orwell realizes that it is impossible, because someone has to do the menial work in order for civilization to function like a well oiled machine, we can say. Because without the manual laborers, there would be no industry, and people would not be able to casually go about their lives with so much comfort as they have been doing. His opinion is made clearly evident when he says in his essays, I quote, watching coal miners at work, you realize momentarily what different universe people inhabit. Down there, where coal is dug, is a sort of world apart, which one can quite easily go through life without ever hearing about it. Yet, it is the absolutely necessary counterpart of our world above. Practically everything we do, from eating an ice to crossing the Atlantic, and from baking a loaf to writing a novel, involves the use of coal, directly or indirectly. For all the arts of peace, coal is needed. And if war breaks out, it is needed all the more. Whatever may be happening on the surface, the hacking and shoveling have got to continue without a pause. Their lamp-lit world down is as necessary to the daylight world above as the root is to the flower. And these lines show the importance of the coal miners and also of all types of laborers, that how they are important for a well functioning civilization, for a comfortable life of all the people in the world. So students, these lines are important. Do mark them, and with this we'll come to an end, and tomorrow we'll begin with the next topic. Thank you.